Hi, I'm Robert Hughes, the Startup Alchemist, and welcome to 1640. Today we have Jake from BnkShot Marketing, and he's going to have 1,640 seconds to tell us what he's doing. Let's go check it out. All right, Jake, welcome to 1640. We're going to do a 20-second elevator pitch, a 4-minute walk and talk out in the blustery winter day, and then a 20-minute sit down. You ready to go?
Let's do it.
Oh, wow. I've never gotten fist bump on this show before.
What can I say?
I'm really pumped for this one. Let's get after it.
Hey, I'm Jake from BnkShot. A lot of founders don't know how to create LinkedIn content that stands out from the clutter. They miss opportunities in their existing networks for referrals, invite to conferences, whatever you call it. So we create an optimized LinkedIn content for founders, companies, and execs, working with 70 companies in our first 3 years.
That sounds great. Sounds like you're the LinkedIn kingpin of LinkedIn. Let's see what he has got for us.
Going down.
All right, Jake, well, iced coffee for our icy cold day. Brought to you by Tate, not a sponsor yet. We don't do hot coffees even on cold days.
No.
But all right, so we talked a little about your mission on BnkShot. Tell me about the team, how you guys got started.
Yeah, I mean, the team's incredible. We have 2 full-time teammates with myself, Ryan and Megan, graduated Babson and Merrimack, and then Madison and Christina, also a Babson grad and a BU grad. But honestly, all started from my dorm room, my sophomore year of college at Babson. 3 months in, I realized I needed some help, so I literally Googled how to open payroll or hire an employee in Massachusetts. Read a blog, listened to a couple of podcasts, opened an account on Gusto Payroll, not a sponsor yet.
Become a sponsor, Gusto. What are you doing?
And now, almost 3 years later, the first 2 people I ever hired are still working with me.
It's incredible. So is it a team of 5 or 4?
5 total, including myself.
Apparently my brain doesn't work as well in the cold. All right, so
Mine
you guys,
neither.
you kicked it off in college and you just said, we're just gonna go for this.
Yeah.
You started going and you're picking up customers. You have new clients, you're taking on new clients, you're doing the work. Where is the business today?
So right now we started with full service marketing. We realized it's gonna be really hard to scale, and what people were really hiring us for was running their LinkedIn pages.
Okay.
We came up with a proprietary strategy and just made us really stand out for that. So our main focus is creating LinkedIn content for founders, companies, and execs.
If you haven't checked out Jake's LinkedIn post, his strategy guides, all the above, he's a must follow. We'll put the link below, but give him a follow. You will not regret it. You'll gain a lot. I actually use Jake a lot personally when I'm posting to make sure that my posts hit the right way with my audience. But all right, so you picked up clients, you're running the business. Is there a competitive advantage you have from a technology standpoint, or is it really just running the playbook with the existing technology of LinkedIn?
Right now it's running the playbook,
Okay.
but building tech, because we kind of have a really just standardized system for all of this, we're looking into like what the next step is to be able to scale a lot quicker than we are right now.
What do you think that looks like?
I think it's too early to tell. I think I'm still discovering it. What I'm really great at is delivering a really high quality luxury service.
Yes.
And I think where I don't have that experience is building tech. And so it's something that I'm really excited to get into.
Okay. So right now you're like, we're gonna serve the heck out of this audience. We're gonna do a great job, create a ton of revenue and value for our customers. And then once we figure out the things that need to get built, that are repeatable and scalable, then we'll build technology to support those functions.
Exactly. I just don't want to build something too early that we feel like, oh, all right, well, we didn't actually end up meeting this piece of tech, or it's not as valuable as I thought it would be.
It's the opposite of the build it and they will come strategy, which we see so often in early stage tech, where companies will build a technology and hope that somebody actually needs it. And that happens sometimes, but more often than not, they find that the thing that they built is not as useful as people they might have thought it would have been for people. And then also the functions that they spent a lot of time on aren't really the functions that their users end up using. So it's a lot of wasted time and energy and money to build things that honestly aren't supporting the core mission. So you're going, we're gonna kind of work really, really hard to build a system and then build technology to support the core functions that we know matter the most to our clients.
Exactly.
That's really incredible. Wow, okay. So tell me a little bit about the model. Are your clients paying you for results? Are they paying you a retainer? Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so it's a retainer model based on how active they want to be on LinkedIn. Okay. We recommend anywhere from 2 to 3 posts per week. Generally, 1 or 2 are about more like the thought leadership, industry credibility. Yeah. And then 1 post a week is about yourself, building the business, or just stories from your career that really resonate and create that familiarity and relatableness with your audience.
Okay. And I've seen your posts. You're very much like a personality. You are the center of the story. A lot of times you draw audiences in. Are there certain companies where that's like playing to their strengths, and other ones where you're like, this may not be the thing for you?
It kind of depends if it's a company page or a personal page. I'd say for personal page, it consistently works really well. Yeah. Where that same style that I have on my page versus a company page, we're gonna, focus more on the team and the company story rather than that one particular person.
Okay, that totally tracks. So it has to. So parts of the plan change, parts of the plans never change. That tracks, like everything else. And what else doesn't track? The goddamn trash man. Let's get inside. It's freezing out here. All right, Jake. I got the thumbs up from Jason, so we're good. You survived the elevator pitch, the cold outside. Now we get to the easy part, the sit down. Better time domain, 20 minutes. We learned a little bit about the mission, about the team, and where you're going next, the traction right now. I want to dig deeper into the team, the challenge of the team, because right now it sounds like you're a service company that's turning into a technology company. And so bridging that gap feels like it's a lot more about talent than anything else and being able to deliver for your clients. How are you navigating that?
Yeah, it's probably been the toughest part. I think like the client acquisition piece, because we do a great job for our clients, has been easier than finding talent to join the team.
So abnormal, by the way.
I got so lucky though. My first or second ever hire was from a LinkedIn job post. Her name is Madison. She's still with us 2.5 years later.
Shout out Madison.
Shout out Madison. And like, I just didn't realize like how lucky I got, because then I started, as we were growing, doing more interviews. Like I was like, oh, all I need to do is post on LinkedIn and I'll get a bunch of reviews and I'll find someone. And I realized like that's probably not the best strategy. And so ended up, starting hiring people that I graduated college with me that I knew, that other people knew, and they had a really great work ethic. And that's kind of where we are today. And I feel like now at this point, like the talent comes to me because I'm posting so much on LinkedIn. They want to work for this startup and they're really buying into like what we're building here. And so it's been really cool to have people reaching out for job opportunities.
It pays to be the kingpin of LinkedIn.
Or as my fantasy football team was called, the LinkedIn Legends.
Either way, legend, kingpin, this is the guy when it comes to LinkedIn. So you're starting to figure out new channels to reach out to acquire the right talent, because every hire right now is super critical. And then if you can continue to serve at a high level and get great results, it just feeds into the machine, gives you that war chest you need to go build the technology platform once it's all roadmapped out.
Exactly. And I think we'll always need people. So it's not like I'm trying to take this tech to replace a team. It's just I want to make it easier for the team so they can use this tech mostly internally, to just produce like better results and feel confident.
It's the difference between automating tasks and service versus automating the tasks that empower service. Yeah. And that's a huge twist. And it's the biggest opportunity, I think, right now in post-COVID era. Service is the greenfield where you can make the biggest impact, where no one's really leaning into service. They're sort of resisting it. And so if you have a team that's like, we live to serve, you stand out so much more. Tell me, was there a point where you realized that you had too much inbound or opportunities? You're like, how am I going to do this?
Yeah, it happened like honestly like last month in December.
Wow.
It was just like we got over 20 referrals in 1 month just from like existing clients. And I got to a point where like, if we take all this on, we're going to lose control of the steering wheel. And as an entrepreneur, I think that's like very tempting. You'd be like, great, we're going to go work with all 20 of these people. And then you realize like, oh no, the car is slipping. Yeah. And so we ended up just putting a wait list on. And then we were able to even make our onboarding system better. So it's like, okay, great. We realize like our capacity right now, we're only going to take on 2 new clients every single week. And then, at least 3 weeks out from when they touch base with us, so we can get ahead, so we can start getting the profile done, writing the first few posts for them and educating them the strategy without that deadline of like, this needs to go up by Tuesday. Yeah. And so as much it was like tough for me to like be able to like we can't take on all this new business. It created a more scalable process for us to be confident as we move forward.
When you're a service business, the one thing that always becomes concerning is like a constant fire drill. And so employees feeling like, and the team, owners, the founders feeling like they're always in a fire drill, having to rescue a deal or save a deal or last minute. And those things are going to be happening anyway, no matter how much you plan for it. There's always going to be a need that arises. So the way you're doing it is like consistent, not taking on way too much, but pushing that edge of like balancing really great offerings for your clients and execution with pushing the envelope of how much volume you can actually do and sustain while you're building out a system to make this more scalable.
Exactly. And like you said it right there, system and process. Like that's what this is all about. So the better and stronger your systems are, and the more that your team and yourself are bought into like, this is how we're going to do it, and this works really well. This is the most optimal way to get from point A to point Z. It makes everything so much easier. So our capacity went from being able to bring on one new client every 2 weeks because I had to be a part of the onboarding to now I don't need to be there. So now we can do 2 per week. And then there's going to be a point where we have more teammates where we can start doing 4 to 6 to 8 per week. And so that's what I'm talking about when I'm not trying to like rush to build the tech, because I think our onboarding system could be even better. And so that's going to play into building the right type of tool to help us.
Yeah. I have a question. Are there times when you get an ask from a company or a person for them to build you, and then you look at their profile or something they're doing, you're like, yeah, this isn't for us?
Of course. I mean, for LinkedIn, you need to be I always say like you need to have the right goals for LinkedIn. It needs to make the most sense. So I think there's 2 common misconceptions about LinkedIn posting content wise. So I think first, the customer that comes to us is we want to go fill our pipeline with a bunch of leads in the next 30, 60 days. We want blah, blah, blah. And that's not the right client to be working with us.
Right.
Because what we're doing, we're not really filling that top of funnel. There's a lot of different ways on LinkedIn you can do that, but creating content isn't necessarily a short-term successful way to build the top of funnel. What we're doing is nurturing the middle of the funnel. So you meet someone at events, have people in your existing network, and we're posting content to kind of take them through that sales pipeline so that they make an action at X point. So there's definitely people that approach us, they're like, we're early stage, we don't really have any customers, we don't have much traction, but we want to get all this business. When I tell them is like, we're not the right investment for you, but here are some other options with other referral partners that we have that we think will be better fit. I think that's one thing. And then the second piece is LinkedIn's really great for B2B. It's not as strong as for B2C if you're not raising money.
Right.
And so we'll have a lot of B2C founders or execs approach us, and we just say, if you don't really have a B2B goal, then we don't think that LinkedIn should be the platform that you should be investing in, given limited resources.
Right.
Put that money into TikTok, Instagram, if you really want to push out social media content that's going to drive sales. But we're great if you have a B2B play.
Got it. And the middle of the funnel is like very interesting because it takes a little bit of understanding from your customer, like, hey, what we're building here is all those soft touches in the middle of a sales process that lead to the yes.
Exactly.
It's reinforcing the decision or helping nudge a prospect towards the finish line. This is not going to create a bunch of top of funnel opportunities or finish the deal for.
It's like going to the gym.
Yeah.
It's that one workout that you do, like you go to the gym, I go to the gym later after this, it's not going to do anything really to my physique. But I go consistently twice a week, or well, the gym is a little more often, but posting twice a week on LinkedIn, in a year, I'm going to start to see those results and be like, wow, all those posts or all that work I did, all those chest days, they're really starting to pay off. And it's a similar mindset you need to have for LinkedIn.
That's incredible. I think there's a lot of things about the business are starting to come forward in my brain as far as questions. So when you're building these systems out, or these let's call them methods of operating efficiently, are there concerns that as the algorithm tweaks, as they make tweaks in the algorithm at LinkedIn, that you're going to be adaptable to those changes? Are you building those systems with that in mind, that, hey, they might tweak the things that they're boosting, or the content that's working, or eyeballs and all that?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, we're always doing research, and we've kind of created our systems in place to be able to like be flexible, because there's still a very creative part of what we're doing. It's not like you can just go and put something into AI, for example, and then have it spit out like there's like strategy behind it, like why we're posting what we're posting. And as much as we're going for engagement and like what LinkedIn wants to push, at the end of the day, we're focused on middle funnel. So it really matters what the audience of that person's network cares about, more than necessarily trying to go viral on the LinkedIn algorithm.
Or all that.
Exactly.
What you're going for.
Exactly. Like if we really wanted to, the TikTok ban happened recently. And if someone was in that space, it would make sense for us to go write a really quick post and try to get on the LinkedIn news feed for that and build impressions. But for our clients, that wasn't really relevant.
It's not going to help them.
Exactly.
And it might feel good in the moment, but it's not going to be great for them.
Exactly.
Okay. Excuse me, are there misconceptions that people have coming in besides like, hey, you're going to build top of the funnel for us, that you're constantly like repeating over and over again, that ad nauseum, like, oh my God, how many times do I have to say this?
It's interesting. This is such a great question, because usually the first question I get is like, well, can't people just write their own LinkedIn content with AI? And I'm like, yes, they could, but that's not the value we're offering.
Right.
What we're doing, like, we're supporting campaigns just because sometimes people don't have time. Our real value is the strategy behind it, the post archetypes, the post categories, what photos we're selecting. Yes, how to write the post, but it's more about the input. It's like, what information is your audience really going to care about?
Right.
So yes, you could go use AI, and I always say, yeah, you could totally go use AI, but that's not what the value we're providing. We're not providing the value of writing the post. We're providing the algorithm knowledge, the strategy, all of that.
It's not necessarily the words that go into it, it's the thoughts behind them, the context of like what you're trying to set up and how you're doing.
Exactly. Even like where it is in the post, like, matters so much that AI wouldn't understand.
I almost want to do a post like blah, 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 and just but do the formatting and just show like you can actually say absolutely nothing. But if you post at the right time and you do it in the right format, you'll get eyeballs on it.
Yeah, well, it's all about that first sentence and then the imagery you use.
I'm leaving LinkedIn. No. If you know, you know. Incredible. So what do the next couple of months look like for you? Like let's look at the next 6 months, because you have a big inflection point in December. They're taking on all these new clients, you're hiring, you're thinking about the future. In your mind, like, what are the things you need to accomplish in the next 6 months?
Yeah, so I think the first thing is just making sure that our existing delivery stays at that high quality and gets better. So I think that's my number one priority, is just making sure that we're still providing such an amazing service every single day to every one of our clients. The second priority is, over the next 6 months, is just continuing to build internally. I'm not too worried about external, like, marketing ourselves necessarily. Like, honestly, me posting twice a week on LinkedIn, like, brings in so much business, acts like just as a secondary, like, benefit to it. I don't really need to worry about, like, getting out there. But I think just building those internal processes and like building it with my team. So not just me telling my team, okay, this is how we're going to do it. It's interviewing them, talking to them, understanding like what's working really well, what's not working, and just polishing those process. And again, that goes back to my first point of like creating the best service we can for existing clients, because that's just going to help us in the future.
Yeah. Are you thinking about culture and like where Build You physically exists? Is this I imagine that this is ends up being an in-office sort of 5 days a week, very, very cool space to be in, and a culture about really delivering for clients.
Yeah, for sure. It's a great question. So last week I went to a workshop by the Entrepreneurs Organization Accelerator, and it was all about People Day. And so it already got me starting to think like, okay, what are our core values? So tomorrow we have a meeting at noon with the whole entire team. We're going to bring in 5 core values that we want Build You to have. Talk about them, decide which 5 we want to settle on, sit on it for 30 days and revisit them. Share core value stories. And for me, I always thought like core value is such a marketing gimmick. But I realized that like when you grow, like core values, if they're done right and you're living them, everybody on the team, it shows new people that join the team like what you stand for and what your company's passionate about. So I think we're starting to figure out right now, what does building culture look like behind the screen? And then my next step is, all right, great, how are we going to translate that to an in-person experience? And I don't think the team doesn't necessarily want yet, or is ready for. We kind of co-work twice a month in person, and we'll do some team bonding activities. But I do think people love the freedom and flexibility, at least from what my team has told me, to work from home and go visit clients and not feel like I got to be in Boston today, but then our client in Walpole wants to meet, and so it's a whole hustle bustle.
It's always gonna be a bit of a a trade-off of things that you're trying to do. My thought is when you're taking on that many clients, you're gonna have to bring in so many new people. And how do you have a core group right now that knows what you're doing and cares intimately about it? And how do you have that knowledge permeate to the next level very quickly? And that passing of knowledge happens most expediently in person.
Totally agree.
Yeah, I just imagine your office being awesome. I'm sorry. I feel like there's like
Hope it will be.
I feel like there's like a live feed of LinkedIn, like of your office. There's just my vision of it. I don't know if that's real. Okay, beyond that, so I almost want to get down to this. It's a larger question and maybe a little bit harder to articulate. But what is the thing you really want people to think of when they think of build you? What do you want them to think of? Do you want them to think of you as like a nurturer of the stories that and the content of a company, or is it empowering people and companies to have a digital footprint that matches the audience they're trying to attract?
That's a really good question. I think it's going to change
Yeah.
as I build the company.
Yeah.
So right now, I really want, when people think about build you, I want them to think about LinkedIn experts.
Yes.
Like, if I have a LinkedIn question, I'm gonna go to I'm gonna text this Jake guy. I'm gonna message him a link. I'm gonna shoot him an email.
Yeah.
That's what I want people to think right now.
That's what I do.
And yeah, exactly. And I think as we grow, that's gonna shift to being like, great, we're kind of building this brand of LinkedIn,
Right.
and then I want that to shift to like, what's the value of LinkedIn, and like, what are we doing? So like, why is sharing a story about yourself building a business valuable? And so when people think about build you, I want to think about like activation of that network, social selling, referrals, and just like what you mentioned earlier, like those little touch bases that can make or break relationships.
Yeah, that's incredible. Oh, that was an off-camera conversation, but yeah, we were talking about that before we got on. That's really interesting because it is all those soft touches and thinking about that. Do you envision a future where LinkedIn is one of the pieces that you're helping companies to build out their socials on, and going on to like Instagram and other channels?
Definitely. So I think what we're doing right now is perfecting the LinkedIn branch.
Right.
We're making this part of our company that's just so great that when we decide to go on to the next thing, which will probably be email, because that's really great to nurture your audience. That's like the next step of nurture. We're gonna make it so great. And then once that's just perfect, we're gonna move on to the next, which is email or whatever that might be. Maybe it's a different social media platform at that time.
Yeah.
X potentially. Who knows?
Yeah.
I know you're building your brand there.
They're trying. Follow me.
Give them a follow.
Give me a follow. _ startup alchemy. Awesome. Okay, so I see the vision of like building out socials for businesses and for brands, and it's starting in LinkedIn. It might expand, but right now you're like, let's perfect this, let's scale this, let's build a technology. I think at a certain point, it's going to be so dialed in that you're like, okay, let's go solve the next riddle. What's the next algorithm got for us that we can kind of crack and help brands unlock the potential of social selling?
Exactly.
Man, there's almost like a TED talk in there. I mean, you're talking about some things then you're taking for granted almost, the fact that you get so much inbound just from your consistent quality posting on LinkedIn. And that for so many people is the code they're trying to crack. Like, it's incredible. And you're like, oh, we cracked it. And we've got it down so well, we can do it for others.
Right. Well, it's like influencers, right? Or like, is there a famous person? For me, it's Tom Brady. Love you, Tom. But like for me, it's Tom. And like, I feel like I know him. Like he's created so many awesome moments for my dad and I on the couch watching football together.
Yes.
That I would go up to him and be like, oh my God, Tom, like you're awesome, but you have no idea who I am.
Right.
And like, oddly enough, it kind of almost sounds a little egotistical, I guess, when I say it, but I've started to experience that when I'm in LA. I went to a networking or just
been famous.
Yeah, like I went to a networking event and someone recognized me, like, oh my God, I'm connected with you on LinkedIn. Yes, or like
From State Farm.
I was out with I was out with my friends like a couple weeks ago.
State Farm, you could be a sponsor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Soon.
Soon.
And I was out just like with my friends and someone comes up to me like, dude, I know you, like I think I see you on LinkedIn all the time, like you're killing it, and they know my company name.
It's awesome.
They're like, you're killing it with Build You, and I'm like, whoa, I don't even know you. You know my company, like you know what I do. Like that's so cool to me. And so that's what, our clients experience as well.
I have one last question, and then you're going to get 2 minutes to talk to you on. It's what's your, there's a little bit of curiosity in my mind about the idea of building connections on LinkedIn. And it's the idea of like, how many of these people do you actually know and that you're accepting versus the people that are just coming to you randomly? What's the best advice you would give for people that are on LinkedIn and they get a lot of people requesting to connect with them?
I say do it.
Okay.
I think what the real value of LinkedIn is going to come from the people you already know. Right. So like that's where you're going to get 85% of your opportunities.
Yeah.
But that 15% are going to be people that are second and like second connections. So like they realize, oh, this person always engages this kid's LinkedIn content. I kind of want to talk to him. And so the 15% of those opportunities are going to come from them. So I always say, accept the request. If it's spam or they're trying to sell you something, just don't reply.
Right.
And you'll never know like who's going to request and why they're requesting.
I said last question, but I absolutely lied. I had one more. Do you ever do like a LinkedIn audit where you go through your connections? Say like, there's nothing, this is not the type of person, there's nothing here. I've never met them. They don't interact with my posts. They're trying to sell me stuff. I'm just going to just clean it out.
No, I feel like it's just not not worth the time. Like, so what if they're following my content?
Yep.
What if that one day, 9 months later, they see one of my thought leadership posts about LinkedIn, someone approaches them that maybe responded to their cold email.
Never say no.
Exactly. And they want a referral deal. Hey, I have someone, blah, blah, blah. It's like, you just never know. So, it doesn't hurt me if they're following me.
All right. That's why he's the kingpin. Okay, so we did the elevator pitch. We did the walk and talk. We did the sit down. And now you get 2 minutes to look into the camera, tell the people where to follow you, how to engage with you. What's next?
Great. Connect with me on LinkedIn. Simply Jake Ross, Jakeross, and you'll continue to see our LinkedIn content. And my team posts as well, so I'm sure that will pop up on your feed after you start seeing some of my posts. But if you want to take your LinkedIn to the next level, activate your network, honestly, it really is as simple as shooting me a LinkedIn message. We'll set up a time. I'll take you through our strategy, what we do. If you feel like it's a great fit, and we also feel like it's a great fit, and we'll genuinely provide value for you, let's work together.
That was less than 2 minutes. Super efficient, super clean. This was great having you. I learned a lot about the business, about where you're going. I'm really excited to see you take this thing to the next level. I think 2025 is going to be an incredible year for you. LinkedIn has become more and more the center of B2B. I feel like it went through a phase where it was losing some steam, but it feels like it's back, and you're right at the cutting edge of like helping brands activate the middle of the funnel for them, build their story, connect with their core customers, engage with them, and convert them into long-lasting relationships.
Yeah, and 2025 will be the first year I'm working on it full time. I just graduated undergrad 6 months ago.
Congratulations.
So it'll be my first time, like full 1 year straight, build you, no classes, no distractions.
Wow. I can't wait. This is gonna be incredible. Thank you for coming in. It was awesome seeing you.
Thank you.
I'm looking forward to watching you continue to kill it on LinkedIn.
Let's do it.
All right, man.